In this video, we are going to draw a cubic function using the function graph tool here. So select the first one. What we'll do is we will click and drag to the size that you want. Okay, so your diagram will be different from mine, but we can adjust this by doing a right click, and we will look through all the different features here, starting with the quick entry. So we'll key in the function y equals to x cubed plus 3x squared minus 2x plus 5. So we will start with the axis. So for the axis, whether you want to show the small ticks here, whether you want to show the scale, the axis, these are all selected here. Now, one important part is the origin mark. You can set to offset. What this means is the origin, all right, will be a bit to the left and bottom here. Right, so it will be not proportional to the rest. It will be a bit off, but that's how we also usually drew it or label it. Okay, next, you can indicate the value for the x and y axis, the labeling, and the size, and the style type. Okay, once you're happy with this, you can always set as default. So the next time you use it, you will be exactly where you left it off. If the final part for the axis will be choose the ones that you prefer. Usually we will use the second one to indicate the y-axis and the x-axis. Okay, so once the axis is done, and don't worry, you need to do it once only. For the styling, you will select scale now. Yeah, I know that the graph, maybe if you use decimals or something, you know that you can go from -4 all the way to 2. All right, so instead of 4, I can select until 2. So -4 until 2. And the scale that we want, all right, it can be 0.2, or you can select 0.5 if you prefer. Okay, so let's try 0.5 for the minor scale. And for the major scale, let's choose it as 2. You can also select it as 1. Okay, we will start with 2 first. So for the y-axis, we know it goes from -2 all the way to 14. So we'll do that, -2 all the way to 14. And for the scale, we will select, for the minor scale, we will have 1. And the major scale is 2. Right, here we purposely have a different scale for the x-axis and y-axis. Okay, and you'll see why in a while. For the scale part, this is extremely important, but we will look at this after we have created the graph. And whether you allow broken line or not is indicated by this. This is the size. Again, once you're happy with everything, you can set as default for future use. As for grid, you can select, all right, the type of colors, the thickness of each line, the major axis, and the minor axis. So for the major axis, I use 0.5 points. For the minor axis, I use 0.25 points. Okay, and this is the type of grid that we are looking at. Finally, for the functions, this is where you can choose the color that you want. Okay, let's choose red. And the thickness that you want, you can choose 1.25. And whether you want the out of range arrow or not, usually we will uncheck this box. We don't want it. And you can actually press OK to see how it looks like now. So it will look something like this. Now you realize a problem here, okay, that the boxes here, they are not a perfect square. So use the select tool. Okay, you can now drag it until it looks like the correct size that you want. Okay, if you right click again, remember just now we look at the scale. Equal aspect is good when the minor axis has the same scale, okay, like this, and you press OK. You realize here you get a perfect square. Right click again, under scale. Okay, you can also select fixed. So 1 mm equals to 1 x unit and 1 y unit. Press OK. So here you will also get a perfect square. Okay, but you realize that the top parts or sometimes the left and right part may be missing. So you need to try and error a little bit. Okay, so let's try this as 5. All right, so now you can see it. Okay, we'll go back to the free again. Okay, so here we can have a bit more adjustment, but your square may not be as perfect. So what we can do is we can also right click. You can change the minor scale. Okay, and now, all right, you can do fine adjustment if you want to. Okay, finally, we want to add the tangent. So what we'll do is we will click on the graph, and there is this tangent tool here. Now the tangent tool is extremely easy to use. You just click on the points that you want to create the tangent, and that's it. Right click, edit point, change colors or the size of the tangent that you want, the thickness, all right, the color, the thickness. And once done, okay, you can even select exactly where you want it to be at. So down here, we selected it at x equals to 1. So press OK. And there you have the tangent. Now, if you realize that if we choose the normal, all right, show the normal line, it is not really at 90 degree. The reason being, recall our graph here, okay, right click, edit properties. Our graph was not at a uniform scale. So if we change the scale here to, let's say, 0.5 also, change it to a equal aspect, and now you will have a 90-degree normal. So yes, you may require a little bit of try and error here. Okay, it really very much dependent on the scale that you are choosing. Okay, one useful tip here is if you want it to be quite big, right? Okay, you can click on the graph, and under scale, we can change to fixed. So usually we have 1 unit to be about 2 cm. Okay, but that will be really very big here. So what I'll do is I'll just change it to 1 unit is 1 cm. Okay, for the major axis, let's use 1. For the minor axis, we can use it as 0.1. Or okay, let's just try 0.2 here. And the graph will be quite big. And when you press OK, now you notice that this region is gone. So what you can do is you can actually shift the graph down a bit, and you can increase the region. It will not affect, okay, the squares because it's already fixed. So now you have a much bigger graph that is exactly proportional and to the way that we want it, which is 1 centimeter will be 1 unit.